that is produced by the hydrogen sulfide gas.
We had actually thought about bringing a sample, but looking at all this, we would have run out of appetite for the next 1 week. So, ladies and gentlemen, looking at a research that was done by OECD steering group on 152 casualties that were reported, we had these numbers. 5 suffered from irritation from this gas, 10 had mild poisoning, 56 had moderate poisoning, 81 cases were severe. And out of this number, we lost 8 lives, ladies and gentlemen. But today we want to bring you a solution.
So what are some of these health hazards that hydrogen sulfide poses? Insomnia. Some of us might have natural insomnia, like myself. I rarely have sleep. But ladies and gentlemen, these workers, people who work in these areas, are subjected to unwanted insomnia. This guy rarely sleep. We also have loss of consciousness, which also comes with the effect of brain damage. Loss of eyesight after having eye problems for quite a while. We also have the effect of nausea. So ladies and gentlemen, picture if we brought that gas here today, then someone sitting next to you gets the courtesy to puke on you. That's very pathetic, ladies and gentlemen. And also, last but not least, to your final destination, death.
We want to make matters more interesting. We want to bring to you a locally made, available device that is iPhone 20 compared to Nokia 3310.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the revolutionary, first made in Africa, in Kenya, our hydrogen sulfide detector. Oh, for today we are not going to use the principle, we're not going to use the rotten egg. We are going to use the principle of temperature detection for this illustration, which is one of the principles that this detector actually applies in a form of detection. So, where is our hot water?
We are going to use hot water, which is going to serve as our working plant. Remember, we are at Desal Corp Industries, and we are taking this journey into the plant. And remember, we have a safety marshal that is unknown to us.
Just have a touch or...
I'll get close. Yes, it's hot.
It's hot.
Yeah.
So in this case, you're going to use a DHT. And ladies and gentlemen, as I said, if your phone is off, kindly, people might die in this industry because of you. Please put your phone on.
So we are taking this journey into this company, and as we take a small chat in this company, as we show you around, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be exposed to numerous gases. That's why we have this device. Personally, I have no kids yet, and I pretty much know that my mom wants to be a grandma soon, so my life is depending on it. So, kindly,
Yes.
We'd like you to read the display digit that is on our screen. Kindly read this.
What's the temperature as per now?
27 degrees Celsius.
27 degrees Celsius is the
27.
temperature that has been detected by our DHT
So
coming from our
27
plant.
is going to be our magic number, ladies and gentlemen. Have that at the back of your head. What did I say again? Wait, did you say 37? 27. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is our magic number. Let's have it somewhere. You can jot it down using a pen.
And ladies and gentlemen, when our detector hits 30 degrees Celsius, someone shall receive that life-saving phone call for tonight. Ladies and gentlemen,
Superman or Spider-Man?
in a few moments, one of you will be receiving a phone call. I would have used my phone, but the number is saved as danger, and I don't want anyone running out of this place. So that's why we decided to use another person's phone. Kindly, if you receive a phone call, stand up.
Yeah, anyone receiving a phone call right now?
Please stand up if you're receiving the phone call.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yes.
From 0732.
That's the number.
Fantastic.
Say no more.
So, ladies and gentlemen, worry not. You can smile. You can go back to your house safe and sound tonight. And who? Thank goodness my mom is going to be a grandma. We pretty much talk about it everywhere. So we have researched in the market, and we have looked at the standards that have been set in place but by ACGIH, that is American Conference and Governmental Industrial Hygienists, and Occupational Safety and Healthy Administration, to make sure that our device is going to be up to par with the set standards globally, because we don't want to make a market that is a product that is going to be only working in Kenya alone. We are looking at Africa, the whole world, and if there exist aliens, be sure that they're going to be using this device. So we are going to make our device to be very sensitive, up to 1 part per million, which is a very small amount that is not detectable by your nose. Ladies and gentlemen, let me give you an example. When you walk into an industry and you have 3 to 5 parts per million of this gas, your nose will detect it. But when you have 100 parts, your nose ceases to detect this gas and you don't become aware of it, and that is when you're being served by slow portions of death. And ladies and gentlemen, these are the advantages that this device is going to have over the devices that are already existing in the market.
The first of its kind to be made locally. It's the first ever to be made in Africa. So this is the pride of Africa, just like KQ, the pride of Africa.
And then there is already existing expertise, because as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, if I punch him, he's real. He's not artificial intelligence, robot, or hologram. So we are already existing as the expertise locally available. And this device is actually going to sell cheaper compared to the devices that are already existing in market.
And it's first in terms of detection. Ladies and gentlemen, this device in terms of detection, because it uses 3 modules. For the portable, 2 modules. For the one that is installed in areas such as rigs, it will use 3 modules. Module number 1, electromagnetism. Module number 2, reversible reaction. And module number 3, temperature detection. Temperature detection comes in where? The higher the temperature, the more the hydrogen sulfide gas is produced. And also, finally, ladies and gentlemen, it can be used in any setting. It can be customized to your liking.
And this is the team that we have organized that will lead us all into the future. We are going to have our team leader, the financial management, the technical team, and the sales management. And ladies and gentlemen, for our revenue generations, we are talking about sales to companies where mining of coal is taking place. We are talking of geothermal plants. We are talking of oil and gas industries, and generally industries globally that are exposed to such conditions. And if you are in the industry already, you know that there is a requirement before you set up your industry for you to check for hydrogen sulfide and other gases that are naturally existing. So we have a very large potential market out there. And
the second part comes in hiring this device. There are some companies which come into the country just to explore, to see if they might find some of these minerals. They're also exposed to this gas. So it might be hard to these guys. And also to tourists. Take an example of the geothermal power plant, Olkaria. It's near Hell's Gate. We don't want our tourists to be served with small doses of this gas while they're there.
And we're also talking of revenue in terms of installation, because for this device we are going to have customizable sizes, because we have local expertise, that is, so we can customize it to the requirement of the company at the ground already. So for installation, we are going to have revenue from that. And we are also taking in the factor of maintenance and monitoring of this equipment, because as we had seen the previous slide, it is broken down, and we have a challenge. The expertise is from outside Kenya, outside Africa. It is costly and very not much effective, if I can say. It's not effective and very costly. And this is our production cost per gadget. Looking at the higher side, we are going to produce a single gadget for 6,500 shillings, and we are talking of a selling cost of 12,000 Kenyan shillings. This is $120, compared to the one that are existing in the market, which go for around $140, which is 14,000 Kenyan shillings, without the shipping fees. And for this large-scale financial plan, we're looking at the first year. These are pessimistic values, of course. First year sales of 100 gadgets, but let me mention this as our honorable mentioned, that we already have a company that is interested, that has already pledged to give us a test run of 200 gadgets when we start production. So ladies and gentlemen, the 550,000 shillings profit for the first year is going to be double. And we are coming to you asking for 2 million Kenyan shillings with a payback of 3 years with 30% interest. But we are well aware that most of us might want to stay with the company longer. We are talking of 10% stake in the company. And ladies and gentlemen, these figures, as matters of what will come back into your pockets, is up to discussion between you and us. We can have a gentleman's agreement anytime.
So ladies and gentlemen, as we finish up, from the cases that we've just seen, over 100 people have died. Those are just the documented numbers. What about those which have never been documented? What about those who have lost their sight? What about those who are having sleepless nights? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a real problem. And we are not trying to solve this problem by just putting a device in the gadget. We are trying to prevent you being served by small doses of this gas, which will compile in your body day by day. So ladies and gentlemen, that's it for us.
So welcome to the future.
Thank you so much. I think you can detect the passion, the desire to really go into all the details on this. You will bear with them. They've been working on this for months. Let us take a question from each of you, Simbas, if we may, and one question from the audience, and then we can evaluate and close this session. Is that okay? Paul, is that all right?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Your detectors, are they off the shelf? Are they commercially available? That's something you make?
They're not off the shelf as per now, but we have 3 prototypes which are already working. Yeah.
The detector said that it detects H2S in the atmosphere.
Yeah, it detects hydrogen sulfide in the atmosphere.
Yeah. And do you see a wearable version as part of your models?
Pardon?
A wearable model, something that you wear.
Oh, yeah.
We are talking of production of smaller gadgets, same as your mobile phone.
Yeah.
And we are looking at production of mobile gadgets, which are going to be smaller, that you can have in your pocket. And as time continues, we might have even smaller ones that can act like an attachment to the phone at the back of the cover with time. Because, ladies and gentlemen, one thing that is very true is that technology advances, and we shall also advance.
And as I just said, they are customizable. So for those that will be installed on the rigs are the ones which will be a bit large.
Okay. Professor?
I was showing him my wearable, which tells me, what is your value proposition?
Sorry?
Your value proposition, what distinguishes you from everybody else?
Let me answer that, since I'm dealing with the technical part. So this gadget has 3 modules of detection. The ones that are in the market have only one method of detection. Then our gadget gives you 3 alarms. The first one is a precautionary measure. It comes in when it reaches that point when the hydrogen sulfide gas has started being produced. So you're not exposed to that gas till it reaches a danger point, then you're told to come out of your working place. Then having the 3 modules of detection, it means that when one goes down, you still have another one. And in this case, we are using the reversible reaction method. The electromagnetic sensor might go down anytime, but for the reversible reaction, it's something which will always work. And also, we are infusing the GSM module, whereby all calls will be triggered to the safety officer in that company. So whether you're in a place where you're remote, too much sound, you are still able to get that.
How common are these leaks?
Sorry?
How common are these leaks of poisonous gases?
This is something which happens every day. So whatever happens is that when the temperatures within the cores of the earth increase, the gas is produced more. But when you go to a place like Olkaria, this is a gas which is always produced. It's always there.
There's many times a spontaneous release of the gas from the well or hole that you're drilling. So it could happen at any time. The biggest risk is when it does happen, you will be incapacitated if there's no alarm to warn you that it has happened, and therefore you will probably go unconscious, and if there's no immediate supply of fresh oxygen, then you're gone.
To add on that, if you may, allow me please. If you look at the companies that we have, mostly that deal with mining, people go underground. And if you look at hydrogen sulfide, it is denser than air, ladies and gentlemen. So it tends to be a little bit lower. So those who move underground, if you are down there and it actually leaks, you will be more exposed to it. So if you don't have somebody who is going to be on the alert, maybe all of you are down there and somebody is up there, you won't be having that time to shout, because part of the effects of this gas is at times, if not acted upon, it causes brain damage, dyslexia, heart attacks, nasal problems, and so many problems that lead to death.
Honorable Majala, question please.
I think you have a target market to sell this equipment to humans who have spontaneous omissions that can render some of us, especially after dinner. That's on a lighter note. Do you have a software that's attached to the gadget that would then be able to provide reports over a certain period of time? Because I see you're very particular with complying to certain standards.
Yeah.
So, which is very impressive. So, would you have some software that would do the
So
reporting for you?
apart from the device, we're also working on a software which every morning before the gadgets are released, it will be doing a diagnosis on the machine. In case of any fault, the machine cannot be used.
And according to the standards that we had talked about, in the standards that were released in 2010, the demand that these devices that are normally installed should have a database of the input data that they have collected over a period of time. That is a fact that we are going to factor in the device that we are producing.
Okay.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
As I understand it, there are three parts to this: the detector, the processor, and the transmitting device. Yeah? You can change that transmitter to measure flow rates, measure levels of liquids in tanks of storage. You can also transmit that real-time to a GSM or have a storage component that transmits from time to time. Yes. Look up a company called Smart Pumper. There's a company in Trinidad that does that. And I call it just a poor man's SCADA. It can monitor your operations in the field and send it to you. And they do something similar. I'm not sure if they do H2S, but have a look at those for some ideas of what you might do with it.
For instance, if I'm going to put money into your company, I'd like to understand really how you've quantified the opportunities. I've understood that you've broken down the units you're going to produce per year, but what is the size of the opportunity that will guarantee me business for the next 10 years? That is one. Then finally, I want to understand when these gases have been detected, then how does your gadget, or what is the full circle of user experience to help the people who are under the ground? You know, after alerting the person who's at the top of the ground or the emergency contact, what next? Or unless you leave it up to them to actually come and salvage the situation. I don't know.
Thank you for the question.